Hi everyone, welcome to NiC IT Academy. We are learning Oracle SQL in this series. In our today's session, we are going to learn about subqueries. We have already completed 7 sessions in SQL. If you haven't watched, please check the description and watch full SQL series as per the day wise. Now let us move on to today's agenda. We are going to learn first what is single row subquery, what is multi-row subquery, what is multi-column subquery, and what is correlated subquery. So for all these subqueries, we are going to learn more examples for each and every subqueries. And finally, we are going to see how to find a duplicate record in the table and how to delete a duplicate record in the table. These subqueries concepts are very much used in our real-time project. So please watch the session without skipping it and practice it. I have given all the queries in the descriptions. You can download it and practice it. If you haven't subscribed our channel, please subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon so that you'll be getting all the notifications. So let us start our session. Welcome to the session. In our today's session, we are going to learn about subqueries. So we have seen single row functions, joins, and aggregate functions. Today we are going to learn about subqueries. So whenever we are writing any SQL queries, normally we used to write select statement, right? Select star from the table, select star from the table name, and then we will write where class. But subqueries is nothing but writing select and one more select statement inside this select statement. So this query we will call it as subquery. This query we will call it as subquery. Then this one we will call it as outer query. So this is outer query, this is inner query. So normally any subqueries, the inner query will be executed first, then the outer query will be executed. The outer query will be executed. Okay. So this is what the subquery will be executed. So we can have either select within select, or we can write any DML operations. Like you want to insert some record based on some select statement. Yes, we can write. This is also subqueries. Then update. So we can take update, can go for select, can go for delete. So inside we can go for select operations, insert, update, delete, all the DML operations. But the inner query should be a select statement. So inner query should be a select statement. So this is what we will go for the subqueries. So where it will be used. So we do have different types of subqueries. One is single row subquery. The first one is single row subquery. The second one is multi-row subquery. Multi-row subquery. Third one is multi-column subquery. Fourth one is correlated subquery. Fourth one is correlated subquery. So these are all the 4 different subqueries are available in Oracle or any other SQL. So what is it? We will see one by one. So first we will start with single row subquery. So single row subquery, it means whenever we are writing subqueries in this way, the inner query should return only one row. The inner query should return only one row. That is called a single row subquery. So if it is returning more than one row, that will become multi-row subquery. So we have to write in different way. Whenever we are writing single row subquery, here we will be placing some relational operators. So that relational operator will be either it is equal to, okay, any different operators, like you can go for equal symbol, equal, not equal. So not equal, you can go for this way or this way, not equal, and less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Any of this symbol we can use it in our single row subquery. So we will write one single row subquery. So here we know there is select statement, select star from employees table. If you consider this employees table, so we do have many employees details. I want to know who is getting highest salary. We know, so which is highest salary. If I want to take which is highest salary, then we can take select max of salary. This is highest salary, right? We have seen select max of salary from employees. This is the highest salary we are taking, but I want to know who is getting this salary. So we know already that we cannot write any name here, non-aggregated column we cannot write. So that we have seen already in our aggregate function itself. So I want to know the first name, other columns also. Then I can go for the subqueries. So how can I go? So select star from employees where salary equal to this salary, right? So this salary I can put. So this is the salary, right? Highest salary. I can make this one. If you look at here, this person only, this employee only is getting highest salary, but I cannot write always hard-coded value. Instead of this value, I can make the query itself. So today this is the highest salary. Tomorrow, if any other salary is coming, if any other salary is highest salary, every time we cannot go and replace, right? So that's why we will keep the query itself here. So what it will do? So this query returns this value, the highest salaried employee. So this will return highest salary in the employee table. So only one particular row it will return maximum salary. Then we are equating. So this is called subquery. This is called single row subquery. Single row subquery means the inner query returns only one row. The inner query returns only one row. It will not return more than one row. If it is returning more than one row, it will become multi-row subquery. But here it is a inner single row subquery. So now if you see here, so this is a single row subquery. You have to use only these relational operators. Only these relational operators we can use. Okay, this is called single row subquery. So if you look at here subquery, the inner query can be executed without outer query. The inner query can be executed without outer query, but outer query cannot be executed without inner query. Can I execute? No, we cannot execute. And up to here you can execute. If you want, you can execute up to here, but we cannot execute this alone, right? This alone we cannot execute. So this is called single row subquery. Okay. So one more thing. I want to take who are all getting more than the average of salary. So select the employee list who are getting more than the average of salary. So first we will find what is the average of salary. Select average of salary from employees. So you can take average of salary here. So who is getting more than the average of salary? So I want to take, right? So select star from employees where salary, this is the salary, greater than or equal to, who is getting more than or equal, where salary greater than this particular query. So we can use the bracket. So this is called single row subquery. So it will select the employees list who are all getting more than the average of salary. So average salary we have seen, it will select the employees list who are all getting more than the average of salary. So these are all single row subqueries. Okay. So this is what we have to write single row subquery. So what is multi-row subquery? For an example, for this scenario, I want to take each and every department. Okay, each and every department, I want to take highest salaried employee. Each and every department, I need to take highest salaried employee. The one thing is we can go for rank analytical function we can write. The other one is we can write in subquery itself. I want to take each and every department. Then I can go for group by, right? So group by department ID. So here I will be using the group by department ID. Can I select this particular inner query? Yes, this inner query will be executed. So for each and every department, it will be executed with, this is the value, but I want to know who is getting this particular salary. So I can go with, if I'm going to execute, this is the error we'll be getting it. So what is error? We are getting the error like single row subquery returns more than one row. If you are getting this particular error, you can say because of this relational operator, Oracle assume that, okay, this will be a single row subquery. Oracle assumes that it will be a single row subquery. So this will be your equal symbol, not equal, any operators, relational operator if you are using. So this will become a single row subquery. If I want to take all the records, then I have to use multi-row. For this, I have to go with multi-row subquery. So how can I use multi-row subquery? So multi-row subquery means instead of relational operator, you have to use the keyword called in, not in. So multi-row subquery, if I want to use, we have to go with in, not in, greater than any, less than any, or all. So this all or any always will come along with the relational operator. So in I can go with. So what is in here? Instead of equal symbol, I can go with in here. So instead of equal, I have to go with in. So why I am going with in? So this inner query returns more than one row. It returns more than one row, right? So how many rows? 14 rows it is returning. If it is returning with more than one row, then I have to go with in or not in or any or all. Okay. If I'm going to select, so this is what we are selecting. Okay. So what is the use case of this particular query? We have to select each and every department maximum salaried employee, the highest salaried employee for each and every department. If you look at here, 10th department, it is taking one record. 20th department taking one record. 30th department, yes, one. 40th department, one. Then 50th department, our query is returning two records. 6,500 also highest salaried employee. 8,200 also highest salaried employee. Why it is returning 6,500, right? So 6,500 is highest salary for this inner query. So that's the reason. Since we are using in keyword, who are all getting this particular salary, it is returning. Look at here, who are all getting this particular salary, it is returning. That's not our use case. Our use case is for this particular department, we have to take. So this is something like some logical error. Then how can we solve this? So instead of writing like this, we can select the department ID also. You select with department ID, comma, max of salary. Department ID, comma, max of salary from employees group by. Now, if you select this particular inner query, it will select two different column. So multi-row and multi-column. So multiple row also, multiple column also it is returning. Then if I'm going to run, you will get error. So why I'm getting error? It's showing like too many values. So why it is too many values? Instead of selecting this way, so inner query is returning two different columns, but here outer query we are equating with only one column. We have to equate with same number of columns here. So department ID, comma, salary. If I'm going to run this also, it will not be executed. Whenever we are writing this var class, so make sure that we are making that within the bracket. Okay, within the bracket we have to write. If I'm going to execute, now you can get the correct value. So each and every department, you are getting highest salaried employee. So only one record we are taking. If two persons are getting same salary, that's okay. We can take two employees list. So here, if you look at here, so this inner query is returning multiple column and multiple row. Multiple column is two columns and multiple rows we are returning, right? So this particular query we are passing to the outer query. That means this is called multi-row, multi-column subquery. Multi-row, multi-column subquery. If you look at this above query, what we have seen, this query will give you only the logical error, right? The logical error. It will give you logical error. Who are all getting this particular salary? It will pick the employees from here, outer query. This is wrong actually. This particular scenario, this is wrong actually. This query is wrong. Will give you the wrong result. So for that, we are going for the multi-column, multi-row subquery. I hope you are clear. If you consider these four statements, select star from employees where department ID greater than any of this value. So I want to select the employees list who are all working greater than any of these departments. That's I mean. So where department is greater than any of this value, I'm going to run this outer query. If you look at here, what is the var class, right? So this should be your inner query. Inner query resultant, I have given us hard-coded value. You can write select department ID from this table. You can write some based on some condition you can take. department equal to this one. But here I'm writing 30, 60, 90 as some hard-coded value. If you select the departments, select this employees table. If you take 90, department ID 90, where department ID is greater than any of this value, yes, 90 is greater than 30, any one of this value, right? Yes, we can write this way. And then 90, yes, 60 is greater than any of the value, yes, 60 is greater than 30, 100 greater than all of the value. The same way we can go with. But if I have 20 is greater than any of this value, no, 20 is not greater than any of the value. So that's why the 10 and 20, 10, 20, 30, these three departments, you will not get it. So from 40, you'll be getting it. So select the employees where the department is greater than any of this value, any one of the value. So instead of writing this 30, 60, 90, we can go for subquery also. So this is the actual query. Say for an example, here we are writing select department ID, department underscore ID from departments where some condition I'm writing. Okay, so you assume that this is inner query where department name in. To explain you, I'm writing this way. This inner query will give you the department ID 30, 60 and 90. So that's what I have written here. So this is subquery, right? If you are going to execute this query will give you from these. So this is what I'm writing this subquery. Okay. Less than any of this value. Select star from employees where department ID less than any of this value. 10 is less than any of this value. Yes. 20. Yes. 30. Yes. Up to 80 at the department will be getting the record. From 10 to up to 80 we will be getting it. So 80 is less than 90. So that's why less than any of this value. Select star from employees where department ID less than all of this value. Less than all of this value. So 10 is less than all of the value. Yes. 20 is less than all of the value. Yes. 30. No. So 10 and 20 only you'll be getting it. Then select star from employees where department ID is greater than all of this value. That means greater than all of this value. From 100 we'll be getting it. Some scenario, if they're writing, if you are getting use case in this way, you can go for any or all. So this is what you can go for, the any or all statement. Okay. I hope you are clear on any and all. We will see more example in our single row subqueries. So first one, whose employee job is the same as job of Stephen. So if you look at here, first we will check what is the job of Stephen. Okay, first we will select star from employees. If you check here, so we have the job IDs here in our employees table. And what is the job for Stephen? So we'll check where first name equal to Stephen, right? The data are case sensitive, so we have to make sure whether we are making the first name very correctly. So if it is Stephen, yes, then we will not get anything. Lowercase, the case sensitive, so make sure that we are making the correct one, or we have to make with upper of lower of. See, the Stephen job is ST underscore clerk. The question is whose employee job is same job as Stephen. So overall working as ST clerk. That's a direct question. So we can take, this is the job ID, right? So we can take only job ID from here. Only job ID from here, job ID. And we can go with subqueries. Select star from employees where job underscore ID equal to, so this particular job ID. Okay, you can see here. So this is the job ID, right? So we can get the job IDs. So who are all working as ST underscore clerk, we'll be getting all the employees. Okay, this is what the job ID. How many record this inner query is returning? Only one row. This is called single row subquery. Okay, say for an example, so here we can see one more example. If you look at here, I'm going for James. going for the name of employee is James. So here I'm getting two different records. Two different James are there. For this, we are getting two records, right? Two records. So, but both are st underscore clerk. If I'm going to directly write this particular query, this cannot be executed. So we are getting the error like single row subquery returns more than one row. So as we have seen, whenever we are making equal symbol, then Oracle assume that it's a single row subquery. But inner query, how many records we are getting? More than one row. Two James are there. That's why more than one row. If I want to make this particular query in single row query itself, single row subquery itself, then I can select distinct job ID. If I'm going to use distinct job ID, we'll be getting only one job for this particular scenario. For this particular scenario, the results will be getting one, and then we can use it. The record we are getting now, same ST clerk we are getting, right? Say for an example, some other jobs, some other record we have in this particular table, we have some other name. So I'm going to select one more record with Steven. So if you look at this particular query, for this scenario, for this particular query, I'm getting two different job IDs. Can I make distinct job ID? Again, if I'm going to use this, again, I'm going to get two different records only, two different records we are going to get it. So even though I'm going to make distinct, so definitely I'll be getting two different records. How can I select? So for this scenario, see, this is what we will be getting it. Definitely we'll be getting two different, even though we are making distinct, we are getting two different records. So that's why single row subquery. If you use equal symbol, we'll make single row subquery. For this scenario, we have to go with multi-row subquery. So how can I use multi-row subquery? So instead of equal symbol, I have to go with in. Okay, so in keyword. So in we know already how to use it. So in is nothing but we can go for multi-row subquery. Multi-row means the inside query we are returning more than one row. So for that we have to use in. If you look at here, AD underscore president, ST underscore clerk. So these two different jobs we are getting it. So this is what we have to use. All the queries I have given here, kindly practice it. Okay, the next question is, so whose salary is more than the maximum salary of the job as sales manager? Okay, so first of all, we need to get the maximum salary of the sales manager. So how can I get sales manager? If you look at here, select star from employees, select star from employees. Do we have any sales manager here? So we do not have any directly the sales manager. How can I get it? The sales manager, I can go and select in jobs table. In HR schema, we have the jobs table. Go and check here, jobs table, where if you look at here, jobs table. So this is a job ID, this is a job description, job title. So we'll take where job title equal to, where job underscore title equal to the sales manager. If you use, so what is the job ID? Here I'm getting SA underscore man. So for the sales manager, I have to use SA man here. So I have to use job ID, job underscore ID. Select job ID from jobs where job title equal to sales manager. So this will return job ID SA man. So where I have to pass, so this one to here. Okay, maximum salary of the sales manager. So what is the maximum salary of the sales manager? Star from employees, select star from employees where job ID equal to this particular query I can use. This query will give you who are all working as sales manager. If you look at here, who are all working as sales manager. What is the question? Whose salary is more than the maximum salary of sales manager? What is the maximum salary of sales manager? 50,000. So here I have to get the maximum salary. So max of salary. So max of salary. So I can get maximum salary. So 50,000. Who is getting more than the salary? Right? Who is getting more than the salary? Whose salary is more than the maximum salary of the job is sales manager. Okay. So you can go with select star from employees where salary greater than, this particular query we have to use. We have to close it. So we have written 3 different queries here. So this is inner query. This resultant will be passed to this outer query. This resultant will be passed to the outer query. So this is what nested subqueries. So this person is the answer for this question. Whose salary is more than the maximum salary of the job is sales manager. So nested subquery. Okay, next question is whose employee job is same as job ID is Ellen. Okay, so first we will go with this one. Whose employee job is same as job of Ellen. This query will give you, right? Select job ID from employees where first name equal to Ellen. So what is the job ID of Ellen? SA underscore rep. So this will give you the first answer, SA underscore rep. And who are earning salary more than the Ellen salary. So I have to find out what is the Ellen salary. Select salary from employees where first name equal to Ellen. So this is 2 different conditions. So who is getting, who are all working as a SA underscore rep and getting more than the 11,000. That's what the question, right? So if I'm going to execute, we'll be getting, okay, this particular employee is the answer. Whose employee job is same as Ellen. The Lisa's job is same as Ellen, SA underscore rep, and getting salary more than Ellen's salary. So Ellen's salary is 11,000. This salary is 11,500. So that's what we can write. So this is also one of the and condition we are writing here. This is also one of the subqueries here. So we can make use of the subquery. Okay, next question. Display the senior employee among all the employees. Display the senior employee. So if you look at here in employees table, select star from employees table, select star from employees table. If you look at this employees table, we have the column called hire date. If you make order by on the hire date, so we can see this particular person joined first and the next person. So he is the senior member. So we can go for ranking on this particular column and take the top one. In subquery, how can I take? So first we will take the minimum of hire date. So minimum of hire date is the first hire date, right? 13th Jan 2001. Who are all joined on this particular date? We have to take. That's a senior member, right? So who are all joined on this particular date? Select minimum of hire date from employees. That particular hire date equal to in employees table. If you look at here, the same answer we are getting it. So Lex is the senior member among all the employees. Next question. Find the second highest salary from the employees table. Okay. So this is what the question. So if you look at the question, find the second highest salary of the employee table. This is the question. So first of all, we will find what is the first highest salary. Okay, the question is second highest salary only, not second highest salaried employee. So first highest salary is this one. And the second highest salary. So whatever the next highest salary I'm asking. So first we will take the highest salary here. First we will take the highest salary here, and which is the less than this particular salary. If you look at here, the maximum salary is this one. Select salary from employees where salary less than this particular query. Where salary less than this particular query. I can make this way to understand better. So these are all the less than of this maximum salary. Maximum salary is this much. Less than the maximum salary among all the salary, which is the next highest one. If you go with next highest one is 50,000. Among all this, if you are going to take maximum, so that will be your second highest salary, right? So that's what, instead of taking salary, I'm taking salary, maximum salary, second highest salary. Select max of salary from employees. This salary will be passed to outer query. Select maximum salary among all this, where salary less than this particular salary, where less than this particular salary. This will give you the second highest salary. I want to know if I'm asking second highest salaried employee, then who is getting this salary for that person, right? So you can go for what is the salary here? 50,000. Who is getting this salary? So we will take one more query, select star from employees where salary equal to this particular query we have to use. If you look at here, then this is what the second highest salaried employee in the employees table. So just to practice it, you can able to understand clearly. The next example, sum of salary of jobs. If the sum of salary of the jobs are more than the sum of salary of job is clerk. First of all, we have to find out more than the sum of salary of the job ID as clerk. So how can I find job ID as clerk? So do we have any directly clerk? So how many distinct clerk is there? If you look at here, select star from employees, we have different clerks actually. So we have ST clerk, we have SH clerk. So some different clerks is there, right? So among all the clerk, what is the sum of salary? Sum of salary of the job as clerk. So how can I take all the clerks jobs? So we can go with job ID like percentage clerk, this one, sum of this one. So what is the salary? 1,33,900. This is the sum of salary of the clerk more than the sum of salary of jobs. What is the sum of salary of jobs? Sum of salary of jobs, if you look at here, sum of salary of jobs, if the sum of salary of job are more than, okay, sum of salary of jobs first we will find. Based on the job ID, these are all the sum of jobs. If you look at here, sum of jobs, so what is the more than this particular jobs? More than this particular salary? This job, right? SA underscore rep. Among all the jobs, each and every job ID, each and every designation, this is the job ID, sum of salary. Among all the sum of salary, what is the maximum of salary? This particular job. That's a question. Sum of salary of jobs. If the sum of salary of jobs are more than, so if I'm going to run this, we'll get it. So this is the group by resultant, right? So this is the group by resultant. From the group by resultant, if I want to select this particular salary, then I have to use having clause. We have seen this particular query in our aggregate function. If you haven't watched aggregate function, please watch the previous session, day 7 session. So this is the answer for this question. Then we will go to this question. Select the departments where no employees are working. Select the departments where no employees are working. So if you consider particular two queries, if you take employees table, the employees are working from 90, 60, 100, 30, right? 50 and 70, all this employees are working in this particular department. But how many departments are there in my departments table? From 10 to 270. So for all the departments, whether the employees are working, no. So up to 10 to 120 or something, employees are working. So I have to select. So by manually comparing, we cannot select, right? If I have more data, so we can write some queries. So how can I write? See here. So how many distinct departments are there in the employees table, right? So select department ID. So I'm going to select department ID from employees. This way I'm going to write. So how many departments are there? These many departments employees are working. It is repeating. If I want to select only unique records, I can go for the distinct, right? So distinct department ID from employees. Okay, how many departments we have? From 10 to 20, 30. These many departments employees are working. Then 120, 150 up to 270 I have to take, right? Select the departments. We can take this way. Select the departments where department ID not in not in this particular list. Am I correct? So not in this value. If I'm going to select, what will happen? Not in this value. If I'm going to select, I'm not getting any value. So why? If you look at here, select department ID from employees. Okay, so this is giving value. Select star from departments where department ID not in. So not in, we have some value, right? So we have some value. Why we are not getting any value? So remember, whenever we are writing subqueries, so remember this option, whenever we are writing subqueries, whatever the column we are selecting here, so that particular column should not contain any null value. Okay. If you have any null value while equating with null values with outside the outer query, you will not get any record. So to avoid that, we have to go with, we have to remove the null value from the inner query where department ID, department underscore ID is not null, where department ID is not null. So why we are writing? If you look at here, this inner query is returning null values. Because of this null value, this outer query is returning null value. All the values are null. So that's why we are removing the null value by using department ID is not null. See here, from 10 to 140 we are writing. Then I'm going to execute it. So now you are getting it. So 120, yeah, 150, 160. This is what I'm getting. So this is called subqueries. Okay, this is called subquery, right? This is inner query. Inner query will be executed without outer query, but outer query will not be executed without inner query. Remember this. Okay, the same queries we can write right outer join also. What is right outer join? For an example, I'm going to select employees table here. Employees table, here we have the data. So how many data are there? So employees are from these departments. In departments table, I have department ID from 1 to 270. For this scenario, can I go with right outer join? Yes. What the right outer join will do? All the record from the right table, all the record from the right table, matching record from the left table. Up to here, you will get matched. Up to 110, 130, 140. So up to here, it will be matching, right? For these values, it will get matched. For these values, you'll get null value on the left hand side, correct? We will write now, then I will show you. Select, how will you write join? Select all the column names from first table. First table, I'm going with the employees table. I can alias it like E, right outer join. So I will write select all the column names from first table employees, right join. You can go for right outer join or right join. Both are equal. Right join departments D on E dot department ID equal to D dot department underscore ID. Why I'm writing joining here? The above query we can write in join also. E dot employee ID. So what is the result we will be getting? See, for some of the employees, we are getting null values, right? Why we are getting null values here? So you can take E dot star also. E dot star means all the columns from employees table. So employees table, we are taking all the columns. If you look at here, from 100, we are getting department name. But some of the values, so here we are getting the value on the right hand side. We are getting the values on the right hand side, but null value on the left hand side, right? Null value on the left hand side. If I want to take this record alone, what should I do? So I can put where clause, where E dot employee underscore ID is null. So this is what. So no need to take all the columns. If I'm going to execute, same result, 14 records. So here also 14, right? Here also 14 records, 120, 150, 160, same result you'll be getting. So based on the scenario, we have to go for right outer join or left outer join. How will you write the same query in implicit method? Same way. Here you will go with employees table, comma, departments table. Instead of on, We'll go for where class. So here you will use and. This is inner join result. So for right outer join, this is the way we have to write. So if you look at here, same result, 14 records we are getting it. Okay. So this is what single row subquery, multi-row subquery, multi-column subquery, then joins also. Sometimes instead of going for subqueries, we can write joins also. Okay, I hope you are clear on all the three different subqueries. Now we will go to the correlated subquery. So correlated subquery means it's a correlated. Okay, it's a correlated. That's the meaning of correlated subquery. If you look at here, the inner query is related to the outer query is related to inner query. So how it will be executed? For every one record in outer query, it will execute the inner query. Okay, for every one record in outer query, it will execute the inner query. So if you consider this particular scenario, this particular two examples, find the employees having at least one person reporting under him. Okay, this can be achieved by using normal query also. Find the employee name having at least one person reporting under him. So overall having at least one person. So select star from employees where employee ID in. So I'm going to take manager ID. So this is distinct manager ID. So that means if you consider this employees table, for this particular employee who is manager, 103 is the manager, right? 103 is the manager. Then David 103. Then for this employee 114. This employee 100 is the manager. So to take this particular, these are all the manager ID, right? So at least one person should be there for. So that's why I'm taking the inner query. Select manager ID from employees, group by manager ID. So I'm taking that, we are getting this value, right? So here I'm taking manager ID, here I'm taking employee ID. That's why no need to put this null value. So we can take, so this is what we are taking it. Clear? These are all the employees. At least one particular employee is reporting under. Okay, the same can be achieved by using, this is normal query only. This is inner query. This one is outer query. But correlated subquery means select star from employees A. Okay, so I'm taking this as A, where one is less than or equal to, we are taking. So if you look at here, this cannot be executed. Select count of star. So what is this count of star will return? Count of star will give you the count. If I'm going to select 1, yes, 1 means 1 will be equal to 1. It will return that particular record. So it will take this particular record. You take this particular record, first record. For every outer record, it will be executed inner query. You take outer query, first record to this particular query. Select count of star from employees. Same table I'm taking as B, where B dot manager ID equal to A dot employee ID. You remember the same query we have did it like self join, right? B dot manager ID. So this manager ID equal to this employee ID. Who is manager of this particular employee? So we'll take manager ID equal to employee ID, right? Employee ID. That's what we will write here. So this will select, okay, for this particular employee, this will select manager ID, which is not equal. So it will not select any value, right? For this particular record, it will not select any value. Okay, this particular record. So how many record? 1 it will be selected. 1 will be selected, right? So that one you'll be getting here. If it is matching this 100 is matching, this query will be returned. So that's what the correlated subquery is returning the values. Okay, so this is what the correlated subquery. So execute the inner query using the values. I can give you more examples also. I will put one session on correlated subquery separately so that you can understand very clearly the correlated subquery. So these are all the subqueries which is available in our Oracle database. If I have duplicate record on the table, how can I identify the duplicate record? If you consider select star from employees underscore 1, if you consider this particular table, whether this particular table contains duplicate record. Is there any duplicate record on employee ID? How can I find? So I will make, yes, this way. If you look at here, is there any duplicate record on the employee ID? Yes, we have duplicate record, right? We have the duplicate record. 104 and 105 is a duplicate record. So I have to identify. So here very less number of records are there. So we can easily find out it has duplicate record. But in real-time project, we may have huge volume of record. So that time we cannot write, we cannot go and check manually. So how can I write the query? So this is aggregate function itself we have seen. Select employee ID, this column only, whichever the column we have duplicate. So that particular column you can select. Select employee ID from employees underscore one table. Employees underscore one table. Group by the particular column, the employee ID. This is what we have to select, right? We have seen this already in our aggregate function itself. So employees table, we will not have any duplicate, but employees underscore one, yes, we'll be having a duplicate. Employee table is employees table has primary key. That's why we will not have any duplicate. So this is what the employee ID we are getting, but this is what distinct employee ID we are selecting. It will not show you any duplicate. This is equal to select distinct employee ID. So distinct employee ID, if you are selecting, whether it will show you the duplicate? No, it will select only distinct. But if I want to select duplicate record, if I want to select duplicate record, you can go with, you can take count here, count of star. So how much is the count for each and every employee ID? So these two are duplicate, right? Whichever the count is greater than 1, then this is a duplicate. How can I filter out? On the group by resultant, we have to use having count of star greater than 1. We found that, okay, we found there is 2 records are there in duplicate. We found, okay, we have the 2 different records are having duplicate, 104 and 105. It has duplicate, yes. I have to remove, out of 2, I have to remove only 1. Out of 2, we have to remove only 1 record. This is wrong actually. We should not give the same employee ID for 2 records. Out of 2 records, we have to select only 1 record. Can I go like this? Select or delete from table name, delete from employees table, employees underscore 1, where employee ID in, shall I go like this? What will happen? Can I go like this? No, I cannot go, right? So here we have the 2 records, 2 columns, it will not be selected. We have to select only employee ID. Okay, whichever the employee ID here I have, if I'm going to delete it, what will happen? The 2 records will get deleted. 104 we have 2, 105 we have 2. All the 2 will get deleted, right? All the 2 will get deleted. 4 rows got deleted. We should not go in this way. What can I do? I can go for rollback. Can I do rollback? Yes. Delete statement, you can go rollback. So now if you go and check here, yes, you'll be getting. I should not go like this. I have to select only 1 record out of it. Only 1 record out of it. How can I select? Deleting a duplicate record. How to find a duplicate record? So this is what we found. So 146 we have duplicate. 205 we have duplicate. Then we found like this. Okay, count is 2 here. Count is 3 here. Whichever the count is greater than 1, we have taken. So that's what. But I have to delete the duplicate record. So how can I delete the duplicate record? So this is one way. So deleting duplicate record in Oracle, we can do 5 to 6 ways. So this is one way. So how can I delete it? In Oracle, each and every record will have unique row ID and number also, row number. Row number is nothing but each and every record will have the row number, 1, first row, second row, third row. This is what. If I'm going to delete this particular record, as of now, this record is having 5 row number. If I'm going to delete this particular record, this will become 5. This 146 will become 5. So row number will change at any time, but row ID will not change at any time. Okay, at any cost, this row ID will not be changed. If you look at here in our employees one table, the employees one table, can I take row ID, row number? Yes. If you look at here, select row number, row number, row num, comma, row ID from employees underscore one. If I select it, for each and every record, we are getting this row number and row ID. This is what we are getting. For each and every record, I have to select. We cannot take all the other columns, right? Can I take star here? No, I cannot select star here. If I want to select all the columns, we have to go for table alias. So here I can use table alias here. Then I can select now. If you look at here, each and every record is having unique row ID. So even for 104 also, if you look at here, okay, we'll make order by third column. We'll make order by 3. You can see these two are duplicate, right? These two are duplicate. But even though it is duplicate, the row ID will be different. Row number, yes, it's different only, but row ID will be different, definitely. So each and every record, unique row ID. So with this row ID, we can delete. So how can I delete? We will keep one row ID for each and every record. How can I take one row ID? Can I go with the max of row ID from employees underscore one? So what it will do? Employees underscore one, max of row ID means it will select maximum one, group by employee ID. So for each and every employee, I'm taking maximum one. If I'm going to take maximum one, only one record is there. Maximum or minimum, anything you can go for. Only one row ID. So out of these two row ID, it will take max of row ID. Out of these three, it will take maximum one, right? It will not select this one. That green color, whatever I have mentioned, it is a unique row ID. We can leave this record, unique row ID record. We can delete other than this, right? Whatever I have mentioned with other colors, we can delete these records, correct? How can I take unique records row ID? Max of row ID from employees one, group by employee ID. You can see how many records we are getting, 107 out of 109. So we have to keep these unique records and delete other records. How can I do it? So delete from subquery, right? We can go for delete from table name, employees underscore one, where row ID not in, this one, row ID not in this particular query. That's what you can see. Now 2 rows only deleted. 2 rows only deleted, right? If you go and check here, it will not give you any result having count of star greater than 1. Previously we were getting 2 records, right? Now we are not getting any record. That means there is no duplicate record in the table. There is no duplicate record in the table. In the column, there is no duplicate. It has been deleted. You can see here. If I'm going to make order by, there is only one record and it has deleted other records. Okay, so this is what we can go with subqueries. This is also subquery only. So delete from table name. This is also subquery only. The inner query will be executed, then outer query will be executed. So we can go with subqueries. This is the way. So I will take separate. I will post separate session for subqueries, the correlated subqueries, and something like with the class. So we will be writing joins with statement, right? So temporary table. We'll be creating temporary table. So that particular table, we can make it like some A here, select star from A. So that is also possible. That I will take after some time. I will take this concept in separate session. I hope you are clear on this subqueries. So kindly practice it. I will give you all the, whatever here we have practiced, I will give you all the statements. Practice it. You have to practice.